Going live. I think it's live. Welcome
Hi.
today. uh, I wanted to mention today is December 6th, 2014. And today is a special day because it's my first launch. Sorry, let me go like this. First launch of Tigerwon on Google Hangouts Air. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Miss B, and I will introduce you in a few minutes. But first, I want to thank a few people. So one of the people I wanted to thank, actually, I'm sorry, one of the few companies I want to thank is Decoded Fashion, Crane's Taste New York, Social Media Week, and DF Mavens for being the best ice cream, um, for inviting me to your events and allowing me to share the stories of entrepreneurs around USA and to the world. And I just wanted to mention briefly that my website, tigerone.com, will be launched coming out soon and have some awesome interviews from these events. And I hope you can join me. Now, today is a special day, and I'll tell you why. I have an amazing author. Her name is Miss B. Let me find her now.
Hi.
There we go. So, now I have a question about your stories, which is basically the Hey Lou series.
Yes.
Could you tell me how your Hey Lou series started to develop, and where did you get your ideas and your inspiration?
Well, a few years ago, I was at a neuroscience meetup. I'm in a basically in NYU studying neuroscience, neuropsychology, and I noticed that there weren't that many females at the meetup, and I kind of wondered why. So I realized that women in general are not really interested much in the sciences. So I wanted to create something that can actually interest young girls in particular to start at a young age to become interested in the field of science, because we don't have that many programs that actually pertain to women in science, in particularly very young children in science. And how it came about was just really trying to create something simple and accessible for kids, young girls, to understand yet have fun with it. So then I just created this fantasy world for them. That's basically how it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to write these books? I'm assuming it's really hard to think of a book or think of a character. So I'm assuming that it took a while to create it, right?
It did. I mean, it started in 2002, and just basically before Hey Lou, it was like several different little stories and just kind of brainstorming a lot. And yeah, just like every night I would just open up a little scrapbook and start saying, oh, this plot would be nice, or this plot would be nice. So it's little bits of several different stories that combine to create the character of Lou and her series and her world. So it did take quite a bit of time to do.
And when I had a sneak peek of your book, I absolutely loved it, by the way.
Thank you.
Uh, so one of the things I wanted to ask you was, I know you enjoy writing the rhymes of it because I think
Hmm.
rhyming is really hard.
Hmm.
Um, and I think about all these great, I guess, classic books like Dr. Seuss, and I was thinking, how long did it take you to write the rhymes, and did you have any help, or were you kind of like every single day you had to think about rhyming, or I mean, what were you thinking about?
Well, initially the series was not intended to be like a rhyming series. It was just basically a once upon a time type of storyline that most of us know. Um, and it was just by accident. I just like type two sentences, and I was like, wait a minute, this rhymes. And I'm like, I'm going to try to do a rhyming series. And then it just flowed. It did take some time because you really have to think of the the, the tone of the rhyme, and because there's several different types of rhyming styles, and how basically the rhyme flows. So yeah, so it was definitely a work in progress.
So it took 10 years to it took 10 years from the idea of the concept of 2002 till
Mhm.
now to make the rhyming and to make the story. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it basically began in 2012, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's basically how everything evolved, from doing several different plots and then ending up doing a rhyming series just by accident. But
Okay.
like everything in science, everything great in science happens as an accident.
You know, I agree. I really, when I read the first book and it was amazing, I realized I think, especially a lot of girls, and I'll just say just for me too, we're very turned off by science, right?
Right.
Because if you look at who are the most innovators, I've only seen a lot of men, right? I mean,
Yes.
except Marie Curie, right? She's one of the people actually pioneers, but it's really nice that you're actually planting the seeds of little
Yes.
girls
Yes.
because once you're giving them a little bit of empowerment, I think you're going to empower them in such a way where they're gonna love science or they're gonna think of something, and they're not gonna be afraid to try it.
Absolutely. I think it's
Um,
like, I think science has been the boys' club for such a long time.
oh yeah, so is the
For
boys
such a
club. Are you
long
kidding?
time. I mean, I remember like in high school, I'd go to the chem lab just for fun after school, and everybody would be like a guy there. And they would say, "Oh, well, the art class is down the hall." I'm like, "I'm not here for art class. I'm here for like chemistry." So, I think it's like, science for a long time has been directed towards more technical types of frame of minds, and in a way science has evolved, but the teaching style hasn't. So in this way, I feel that putting basic science knowledge into a fantasy world that's accessible to young girls is definitely a great way to kind of create some kind of evolution in science literature for them to really understand and really love, and love every science material. So it's not just biology or engineering. It's also like computer science and things like that.
Right. Um, because I truly believe, especially young girls, they have a big imagination,
Yes.
and if you don't nurture that imagination, it gets killed by someone who's, you know, trying to not build their self-esteem. And what I like about your book is the fact that you're building self-esteem
Yeah.
and you're teaching science, which is
Yes.
really hard, right? Building
Yes.
self-esteem and teaching science.
Yes.
Now, for each character, I see you have Lou, you have Mormor, Morfar, Queenie,
Hmm.
and Gandhi, your dog.
Yeah.
How did you find Illustrator to illustrate it so beautifully of each character? One thing for sure is how did you develop your character first? Was it character first and then get your illustrator to help you with the pictures, or was it kind of together meshed in?
It was a little bit of both. Uh, I developed the characters obviously first, but the style of the characters I really wasn't sure, because I grew up in a different generation, not really like Pixar animation style, more of like Roald Dahl, very old school, fairy tales. But I wanted to combine my love for that and combine what children know today. That's like more modern type of animation. So it's a little bit of a combination of both. While I was building the characters, I was also, looking for artists. And after many attempts, I ended up going to this company called elance.com. which is a fantastic company if you are looking for a freelance artist or freelance anything to do with like graphics or anything. And I just posted up a advertisement, and within just a few days, I got a lot of applications. But I found the individual who I wanted to work with, who really catered to the needs of the style that I needed.
Okay. And so I'm assuming that you got your character first and then you found the illustrator, right?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Her name is Magdalena. I probably am gonna cut up her last name. It's Geik, I believe.
Okay.
And she has a master's in arts. She basically, her concentration, I believe, is Adobe Illustrator, lots of like graphic type of designs, and also like animations, cartoons. And she's wonderful. She's wonderful. You could actually check out her bio on the Hailu website, and she has like all of her work there as well. If you just click on the link. So yeah, she's fantastic.
Um, okay. And the next question I want to ask you is for the future authors out there who've always wanted to create a book
Hmm.
or which I'm gonna do too. um, how would you how long will the process take and what do you think um, they should go first? The character first, the storyline, the plot? I mean, where would you have them start off first?
You know, it really depends on the individual. I know some authors that start a story with just characters and absolutely no plot, right? And then I know people that have a plot but don't have the characters. So
Okay.
it really depends on the individual. Um, but the whole purpose of, I think that authorship is just mainly the idea. If you have a passion behind the idea, then like it'll just kind of all fall into place. There's a lot of trial and error, definitely. Building anything, there's a lot of trial and error, especially in the writing world. And it does take some time. Some people are super fast, but it also depends if you have like a day job or, you know, if you're a parent or you're a student. You know, it took me for quite some time because I'm also a student and I work. So every little chance I get, it's just I'm going to work on the Lou series. And you definitely, the one thing that most authors, potential authors, need to know is that you have to be very disciplined and diligent in your time span of like, make it accessible. Don't say I'm going to write 10 pages in a day. You know, do something just a little at a time where you can build up to your plot and your characters, because then you'll just end up being very overwhelmed and give up quite easily.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who just kind of want to start, but they don't know where to begin. They're like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, should I start with the character, or should I start with the story, or should I start with pictures? Which one do I go first, you know?
I
So,
think it just has to come from the individual. If the person feels that I need to write the plot first before the characters, then go for it. It's really based on your comfort zone. You know, I started with characters, then I created the actual plot because I'm more character driven. Like I read more character driven books, so that's what I'm used to. But some people prefer, plot driven writing, and that's what they're comfortable with. Yeah, don't try to step out of your comfort boundaries, especially with setting up a book or a series, because you won't enjoy it. You want to enjoy this
right,
moment and
I
the
agree.
time that you do for it, because
Yeah,
it's your baby.
yeah, it is. It's like when I saw this book, I thought you were giving birth to it.
It felt like it.
Okay. And lastly,
Yeah.
um, one more thing I want to add. I got a text message from you.
Hmm.
It says, "Hey Jungwon, as you know, the first volume is coming out, and it's for dedicated for young girls interested in the field of science while building self-esteem, and will be published to Kindle and iBooks, and soon." Barnes and Noble. I believe it's in Amazon too, right?
Yes, it's on
Okay.
Amazon Kindle. Yeah.
Okay, Amazon. Okay. And you got an article published in Examiner.com.
Yes.
So you said, here's what you said. If you can back this project for only $21, you'll get a signed hard copy of the book, and you'll support me for the next generation of female scientists to build positive self-esteem.
Yes.
Please spread the world, right? Guess what? I'm pledging today to get to get the book.
Yay! Thank you for pledging.
and and you know it took you several times to ask me.
Well, you're a busy girl, so
So yeah, I'm pledging today. So here's the thing I wanted to ask you. One more thing is
yeah.
how can people reach you and see more about your information about the Kickstarter and also your website?
Okay, so our website basically has everything. It's www.heylu, as in HEJLU.com. And all of the links for Kickstarter, are the Examiner article, and our Twitter is on that website. So if you go to the website, the first thing you'll see is we're on Kickstarter, and just click on that link. And you can pledge. Right now, we're doing a $21 for a hard signed copy, and there is a $501 pledge if you want to be in the next series. So you can be in the next series of Lou. You
Oh,
can be a
me?
character.
Me? I'll take the character. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah,
hello?
yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
For a second, the mic went out. Yeah, so you have the next series that has Molly Molecule, I believe, right?
Yes, the next series, Lou will meet a young elf girl. Her name is Molly Molecule, and just a little sneak peek. Lou's going to learn what an atom is, and they're
Ooh!
going to explore some stuff. So I don't want to give you too much.
That'd be great. So the kids can understand what a molecule is.
Exactly.
Okay. Um, all right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank
We're
you for
Tiger
having me.
One and Miss B, and I hope you can actually join us on the next adventure for a next interview. And I'll definitely follow up with Miss B, or she'll follow up with me, and we can see where it headed next because I have a feeling it's gonna grow very big.
Thank you.
So yeah. So all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you
and
for having me.
yeah, and definitely you'll see us on the next segment.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.